It's like, truth be told, there's so much that I want to play, and like I said, you know, like the whole German thing is also something that I want to like really get into and try out now. Is because I think, you know, like it might be interesting to have like a bilingual channel, right? And why shouldn't I? German Let's Plays is kind of what I started with originally anyway, so there may be a way for me to get up there from... Oh, okay, hold on. Well, oh. It's gonna be a problem. Fucking... Oh no, I can go back. The thing is... Can I get the... Oh, there it is. Okay. Ah, here we go. Force Power Sphere. Actually, not as good of a reward as I thought it was going to be. Ow. Oh, okay. Ay, ay, ay. For some reason, most likely because I've been getting a lot of clips from The Big Bang Theory, I keep thinking about that whole thing where, you know, people couldn't, like, people who weren't nerds didn't know what the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek was. And it's making me... I wonder, like, was that really that common of a thing to not know? Or was it just the fact that, like, there's, like, one whole nerdy dude in the entirety of the world who ever went through that, and then like that just like somehow became like a pop culture thing where it's like Star Wars and Star Trek. Like I can believe the idea that there were people who didn't know, that's not the issue, but it's like, was it as common as they make it out to be? Why the fuck would you... That apparently didn't... Okay. Okay, somehow that does not work. There we go. Thank God for the quick time event kills, otherwise some of these might actually be difficult. Bye boys, see you later. This is where I came from. Yeah, it is. I guess later is now, boys. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. They do kind of play the Imperial March a lot, and I mean, like, a lot of Star Wars in general, but I don't know. It's kind of funny. I never really noticed that. Is that... No, that's over there, right? I have to go there. It's not, like, here.
Oh,
Yeah, it's up there.
Juno, are you seeing this?
Yes, I have a visual. What could possibly possess the Empire to do such a thing?
They don't need a reason, but I'd wager that they're pursuing the last of the pollutions.
Master, Imperial schematics show that the central lift is powered by generators located on each of the crane platforms. Power up those generators, and the lift will be back online.
Right. Well, that's not gonna work. No, wait, hold on. Oh, what the fuck was that guy doing? He's sleeping. Don't sleep on the job, asshole. Well. Try that again, shall we? It's like how in Indiana Jones, which, you know, fair enough, I guess. It's like how in Indiana Jones they play the Indiana Jones theme a lot. Like almost to the point where it's too much. Legendary attacks have a chance to corrupt opponents with a damaging aura. It's like poison, basically. Like that's how I feel with the Imperial March, honestly. It's like it's cool whenever it comes on, when like Vader's on the screen or whatever, right? But I do feel like sometimes it's just like a bit much. Doesn't have quite the same impact when you play it a billion times. Like, I don't think we ever, and I mean, I know why, because they're just meant to be evil, but it's like, do we ever really get like a good look into the Empire? Like, I don't think we've ever really like gotten like a crazy good.
Juno, I sense, I can feel the creature's suffering.
It's horrible. Is there any way you can lessen the creature's pain? Can you destroy those cranes that are holding it down, perhaps?
I can try.
Thank you.
Like, I don't think we ever get like an in-depth look of what life in the Empire looks like, right? Not like necessarily for, you know, like stormtroopers or the Imperial military. Like, you think about it, there's probably a lot of people that live under Empire rule that are just like, yeah, you know, things are okay, kinda. Because we're not getting murdered and killed all the time. But I guess like one of the easiest writing things to do is to just like write your regime to be like terrible to everybody, even though like there's somebody who's got to benefit, right? And it's usually not just one person, but then, you know, it's like that opens up a whole idea of like, you know, maybe they weren't so bad after all, or something like that. And I think a lot of people kind of have trouble with those kinds of ideas because they're not that easily. Have we been to this one? Yeah, I think so. for a lot of people, that's like a difficult thing to grasp or think about, even though I think it's like, in and of itself, actually quite an interesting route to take. Because we rarely ever see, like, the other side of the story, right? Like, we rarely ever see the side of, like, you know, these are the people that live in the Empire, they're doing okay because, you know, not everything is terrible for them 24/7. That one I've also been at, right? Everything looks the fucking same. Okay, this one doesn't have power going through it though, yeah. And it's not like a thing of like, oh, I need to like the bad guys or whatever, but I think a realistic approach to see, like, you know, but then again, like, that also that kind of diminishes the idea of what a lot of like 80s action movies and for being real, you know, that's also to a degree what Star Wars is. It's kind of diminishing the idea of what those were doing, which was like, you know, a lot of action, a lot of cool shit. At the end, the guy gets the girl and everything is fine and everybody understands each other and nothing is ever bad again. It's like, I think the problem there is often that you're getting you know, you're trying to read into something that was never meant to be as deep as you wanted it to be, or as it was meant to be in the first place. I can kind of see, like, you know, the...
Perfect. Juno, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I think for a lot of these movies, it's like people trying to read too far into what was just supposed to be like a very simple concept. And I can see how in that regard it would be difficult, right? Like, I don't think... Oh. Digestion?
You hear me? Pete, can me?
I can't, no. Oh, whoops. Wow, that's a lot of damage.
You hear me? Pete, can
Okay. Yeah, either way, it's I think it's difficult, right? It's like with Star Wars specifically, I don't think the idea ever was to be like an extremely deep... I just hit it. I don't think it was ever meant to be like an extremely deep, like, commentary on society. The idea is, you know, bad guy, evil guy, get rid of him, kill him. It's like not necessarily meant to be that deep, which I think, you know, is okay. You can have a story like that, and sometimes I wish stories were simpler like that, because the problem oftentimes is that most people just aren't capable of properly articulating the thoughts of something that they can't really like do anything with, right? So the idea of writing something that they don't have any experience with is so daunting and difficult that people will just default to the normal stuff, you know, like stuff we've already seen before. And while that isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, I think, you know, a lot of things are popular because they follow the regular line of storytelling. But it will be interesting to see something new, and I'm sure there is. Can I see into my head? And I'm sure there is. I'm sure somewhere out there you have something that you can read and it turns out it's the best thing ever. But the problem is that a lot of work nowadays is very much derivative of a few very key components in the history of literature. And I know it's difficult to innovate in that regard anyway, but it would be cool if we got at least some amount of new stuff here and there. That would be very cool. Also, I'm gonna go grab something to drink before we continue, so I will be right back. Alright. Let's keep going. Just had to also open a window because it is so fucking stuffy in here. Nice, I did it.
Are you there? I repeat, do you copy?
No,
Heard you know.
I'm always original, baby.
Are you hurt?
I'll live.
Good. Your signal looks strong again. I'm picking up more life signs heading your way.
But I think that, you know, like, there's a lot of merit in, like, you don't have to make a villain sympathetic. I don't believe that that's the case. I think that what you do have to do is, like, I think give a proper reason for somebody to be evil, and like, because that in and of itself, I think that is where the very interesting, you know, like, I think the most interesting villains are the type where you don't necessarily root for them, but there's like somewhat of an interesting aspect to why they are evil or to why they're doing what they're doing. I don't know. I don't need villain, but then, you know, at the same time, the most that people can come up with is like, oh, people were mean to me once, or I want to kill everybody to save everybody, right? It's like, okay, well, we've seen that a billion times before. I can't count the amount of times where, you know, the villain was just like, oh, we're doing this. And I've done this myself, and I think that, you know, it can be fine. It can be a good, it can be a good way of writing a story, absolutely. The problem is that it all follows the same kind of pattern, where it's like, I don't know, oh, I'm going to destroy the earth and kill everybody to make everybody happy, because if they're all being mind controlled, then they're happy. It's like, well, okay. Like, I don't know, like, that's not 100% accurate, but to me, the reason, like, Atomic Heart, for example, didn't feel as cool as I think it should have felt, or as interesting plot-wise, was because it was just that again, you know? Like, it was we're mind-grumbling people. We are doing the funnies with the brainies for people, and like, oh, but that's evil because you're taking away their free will. It's like, I don't fucking know, man. Can you come up with something more interesting? Like, I agree, people should have free will. Some people, not all of them. Not all of them know what to do with it. No, I'm kidding. But it's like, yeah, you know, like, I understand, I get it, but it's such a, it's so tired, you know? Like, we get it. Alright, so the free will is bad. Sorry, the no free will is bad.
Not yet, but he's close. I can feel it.
Can we come up with a new idea of what the villain is doing? Can we come up with like something that isn't exactly the same shit as always? Is that possible, you think? And often it feels like, you know, it just isn't. Like, we're just going to be given the same exact shit always and forever, and it's annoying because you can smell it from 100 miles away. It's always the same stuff. It's never done in an interesting manner. Like, just try and come up with something cool. Like, why is that so hard? And I just think that, like, a lot of people are and this sounds really, really mean, and that's because it is. But I think a lot of people are just creatively bankrupt. And sometimes that doesn't even have to be writers. Maybe sometimes writers are just forced to write bad stuff. I don't know. Like, at this point, I would be willing to believe this a lot more if I also didn't hear, like, all the fucking, you know, like, oh, the showrunners said you have to do this and that, and it's like, well, okay, but so the writing's terrible. Why is the show getting a second season then? Or something like that, right? It's like, okay, well, if it sucks so bad and the showrunners see that, you know, things aren't going so hot because things are written badly and nobody's watching it. And I know a lot of shows don't get a second season. Whoops. I know that a lot of shows don't actually get a second season, but then there's some where the user reviews seem so overwhelmingly negative, and yet still it seems as though these shows just, like, still get to be around and don't die, and it's strange. I don't really understand it. And I'm really tired. This is the one thing that I can. This is the one hill where I will say, like, I will happily die on this. The evil faction, or the evil race, or the evil, I don't know, country is just misunderstood. I hope we can move past. I hope we can mature past that fucking trope, because it is the most boring shit imaginable. It's like, We're just trying to live our lives, bro.
Not yet, but he's close.
Yeah,
I can feel it.
okay. And I'm not saying that, you know, like, that can't be a thing. Because, like, I don't know, two things can be true. When I wrote one of my stories, you know, like, I wrote the idea that there's, like, good demons, bad demons, you know, and shit like that. Like, I did that. I get it. But I think I've made it a point to differentiate that, you know, while, yeah, there are outliers, generally, a people can still be majorly bad. It's not, you know, I guess maybe, and then I think I'm reading, or most people are reading too much into this. I guess maybe when you're trying to, like, make an allegory for something, you know, like when you're trying to compare the fantasy race to what real people in real life went through, like, maybe that's the issue then, because you're like, you're blocking yourself off from any kind of actual interesting conversation because you're making an allegory to a people in real life, and then it's like, you know, if you write something that could hint at them being bad, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, because then people will just call you racist anyway, which they will do anyway, by the way, so I don't know why you would bother, but it's fine. But I think that's a big issue, right? It's like that for a lot of people in their minds, they're like, oh, we're gonna write this story about, I don't fucking know, beast folk, and then the allegory is that they're like, insert ethnicity here. Like, yeah, I don't know, maybe don't.
Senator Organa, Master Coda has sent me to rescue you.
I knew he couldn't stay out of the fight for long. But I thought he'd be angry with me for ignoring his advice.
He's angry, but I think he wants to be able to yell at you in person.
Hurry. Shakti's apprentice has gone mad.
This whole planet has gone insane.
Oh, we're not crazy.
We're just built differently.
We've just embraced the power of the dark side.
Stand aside, girl. Don't make me hurt you.
Those...
You won't. He won't let you.
I feel her weapons seem really impractical. Like, you would kill yourself with those really, really easily. Oh, hello there. What the fuck are you doing here? There, can I, like, pick things up and throw them? I don't think I have anything to, like, chuck at that dude. This isn't really working all that great, but better than nothing. Ma'am? Well, she's invisible. Why can't I use that power? Some bullshit. I'm telling you. But yeah, like I said, like that's one of those tropes that I really don't care about it that much. Like, because it's always written in a way where like, oh, you know, we're just trying to live our life. We're not really evil. It's like, I don't fucking know. Like it was a joke in Doom Eternal, and I feel like these days it might be something that's like, you know, actually being written, which is not really something that I think is very fun or interesting. I like it's okay to portray, you know, a thing as evil, because then if you make it so that everybody is morally gray, then it stops being interesting. Like if everybody always has the ability of just being not evil, then I don't know, like it as limiting as it sounds to have, like, you know, oh, these ones are the evil races or whatever. I don't know. Like I think that works just well, and it works as a writing prop much better than having everybody be like morally ambiguous or morally everything, I guess. I don't know. It's like, I think it's easier for people to wrap their mind around the idea that, like, okay, and it doesn't even have to, or, sorry, I should finish my earlier sentence. It makes it easier for people to wrap their mind around the idea of, like, okay, these are the bad guys, they're doing bad stuff. Like, the reasons don't matter all of the time, right? For like a final evil guy, for like the leader of the evil faction, it matters. Something like that. For his like main underlings, it matters. For any character that it like is important, I think there's definitely a reason to write them in a way where it's like, okay, they can be more complex. But I think as a general rule, you know, like take orcs or whatever, it's not even that they necessarily have to be evil, it's just they're opposed to the main characters, and it's like, okay, that works because we're supposed to root for the protagonist usually. So everybody who opposes him seems like they're bad, and you can play with that too. Like that's one of those beautiful things. It's like, if you make it seem like, okay, all of them are bad right from the get-go, it is a much bigger impact when then later we find out, like, okay, we've got a dude from the evil faction who's actually willing to work with the protagonist. Like, I don't know, I don't think that's a bad thing to do at all. The problem is, like I said, though, if you lock yourself into this idea of everybody can be good, and then apply that to all the characters from the evil faction right off the bat, there's like no actual meaning behind it, because then they're just other dudes, right? And it's fine, like, of course, in the sense of in a greater scale of the world and whatnot, yeah, they probably are just dudes. I'm dead. I'm fine. They most likely are just other dudes that are like following the evil guy. Like that's not the issue. Fine. Somehow. But I think that if you, like I said, I think if you try too hard to make everybody seem like they can be the good guy, or that they're like fair in their way of living, I think it heavily diminishes your story. Because then nobody cares when your evil faction guy, for example, is all of a sudden good or something, or then the reveal of, you know, the bad guy's plot might not actually be that terrible doesn't matter as much anymore, because Yeah, I mean, they've already been established that they're not, like, necessarily evil. I don't know. I think people might have an issue. Maybe it's more of an issue of not being able to properly make the distinction of what is a main character, like what is a protagonist and antagonist. In a way where, like, people want everybody to be the protagonist, even if they're like the evil guy, but it's like, I don't know, that doesn't really work. And this is mostly a mainstream media thing, which is why I said that, like, I think you can try and make the argument of the reason is showrunners and whatever. I think that does work, but it's just something where I'm also skeptical because I see this shit on universal or not. Well, yeah, I guess universally panned and also like successful shows at the same time. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe my issue is that I'm looking at it from the perspective of a creator and not of a dude who pockets billions of dollars every year. Or subpar slop. And that's, you know, that's not tackling the ideas of, like, including social issues and political issues into media, which in and of itself isn't a terrible thing. But because it's handled by people who don't have the wherewithal to properly address issues and will just go like, a thing happened bad, feel bad. It's like, I don't know. It's true, but perhaps there's a more interesting way to say that. Perhaps there's a more interesting way to bring attention to that, other than just like shoehorning it into a video game. Might also be one of those problems that come with the territory of people considering video games to be an art form more and more, where it's like, you know, these ideas of like, oh, you know, all art is political and video games are art, so why shouldn't they be? Which is fine. It's contemporary politics that's really the issue, because it dates every single thing that it touches, and it also usually removes the enjoyment from what it is you're trying to interact with because of the aforementioned reasons of people just like really not being capable of properly articulating like the points that they're trying to make. And then you know, you devolve into strawmanisms, and those aren't interesting because a straw man is just like a dude who, like, there's no interesting thing that can happen with a straw man because they're literally just created to, you know, stand there and oppose. And it's like, okay, well, why do I give a shit? This is a guy that isn't gonna change his mind anyway. This is a thing that isn't going to be altered ever in any way. This isn't something that you can overcome because this person is just like made to think a certain way. and they're not gonna stop thinking that certain way. Thus, shit don't matter.
You're going to die here, He's not stopping me. The whole planet is on my side.
Okay.
Your death will not be easy.
Oh shit, I missed the button. Fuck you, bitch. Oh, dang it. For somebody using the dark side, you're really not using a lot of the bad dark side tricks.
Okay, you've won. The senator's yours. There's no need to kill me now.
You
I
are
wanna
a
do.
slave to the dark side. I'd be doing the galaxy a favor.
It's not my fault. Shakti abandoned me here.
No, I killed her.
This planet is evil. It corrupted me. But you can save me. Just
Buddy.
let me get away from here.
You can't fix her.
Just let me go. And I'll turn my back on the dark side.
Love to see her turn her back.